with it. Do it cause I love it and I stuck with it. We ain't with the subbing in the cut with it. Please, none of the talks, I heard enough of it. Like, what you gonna do? Where you at? Who you with? You ain't really about this, don't talk about it. Really on the move, on the map, never slip. Keep your hands to your lips, don't talk about it. Real eyes, real lies all the time. Stand on it, if we said it, we don't walk around it. Loose lips, ain't ships, red cup, blue strips, new phone, who this? No, we don't allow it. Really on go, I don't know what's an off day. Now we on road, came from smoking in the hallway. Now we got shows, boys feeling like Broadway. Always look both ways, even on a crossway. Driving down Cross Bay, out town Barclays. Really on big things, came up a small way. Championship rings, baby, that's a ball game. Or she want a little bag, baby, that's small change. Yeah, that money talk. If we ain't cool, then cut me off. No breaking news, don't run your mouth. Thought it was the plug, now he running off. Thought it was a plug, now he running off. What you gonna do? Where you at? Who you with? You ain't really about this, don't talk about it. Really on the move, on the map, never slip. Keep your hands to your lips, don't talk about it. Real eyes, real lies all the time. Stand on it if we say.
Hey guys, welcome to the 5 F's to Love. So you know it's Thursday night and we're live. So I'm going to say to you, welcome. This is Real Talk with the Men. So you know, we're always thinking, what are men talking about when they're in happy hour? I don't think it's what you think it is. I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised about what women talk about versus what men talk about. So as you all know, happy hour, everybody comes in at different times because we're all getting off from work and we're rushing in. So we're going to start this conversation with Real Talk. Ish, what is going on over there? Are you putting your work bag away? What you doing?
I'm trying to plug in my phone.
You're trying to plug in your phone.
I can't have my phone. I can't have my phone go below 50%. It's at 45%. I get all frantic when they go below 50%. Anyhow,
at 45%.
Good morning, everybody.
Is that what you're doing? Good morning, everybody.
Yeah. Oh, good evening, everybody. I should say.
I'm going to tell you right now, you are so interesting to me. But I wanted to have this conversation because I think often women think you guys are talking about a whole bunch of stuff that's not related to that are mostly related to women. But actually, I found that you guys don't talk about women as much unless a guy brings it to the table or maybe a woman approaches you. So what's your thoughts on that? What do you guys talk about?
Now my conversations now, I don't go out often to happy hours, but when I did, we would talk about women, obviously, when I was a little younger. And if something were to come up, I like to watch other couples interact and see if is he putting the game down and she receiving it. We'll talk about that. I like doing that.
Okay, so that's for me. I feel like a lot of times that's what I'm thinking the conversation is about. I think I do more people kind of viewing when I'm out, but I'm not really focused on per se like the conversation, right? So I think that's very interesting that you're like, you guys are people watching like we are.
Oh yeah, I love doing that.
Oh my gosh, that's insane.
Hey,
Dr. Campbell.
Doc Shave.
Hi guys, how's it going? Missed you guys.
See you, man. You
I know,
good,
man. Hey, miss you, Ish. How's it going?
Yeah, good to see you too, bro. It looked like
I see you're taken aback like everyone else. They are all taken aback. Dr. Campbell, what is going on? This one lady in the gym today, she said, excuse me, you must be new because I've never seen you before. I'm like, ma'am, we've worked out for the past 3 years together. It's me. She's like, oh my gosh, what happened? So people are just in shock. But I do this every year.
The beard slimmed you down.
You know what? I mix it up every year. I have a beard period. I have a beardless period. I have a gray. I have a black. I'm like, people just, it's okay. It's cool. Christine is still in shock. Yeah, she's still in shock. She's speechless. Oh my goodness.
I'm saying this because if I lived in your state and I saw you out at the bar and I knew you the other way and I saw you this way, I would not have put the two together.
Most people, at 99% of the people who have seen, even my staff members, because some of them who are new have never seen me like this. So they're like, hold up, like, are you? Who are like? What's going on? And I'm like, they're like, this is not you. We're not used to seeing you. So, I do this once a year. I just take it all off, and just start the growth. It grows fast. Start the growth process again.
You need to wear a shirt to say, "I am Dr. Campbell. I am the real Dr. Campbell." You need to wear it. Can you just get a T-shirt made? I'm just like, wow, amazing. Okay, so
I'm glad we stayed on because he popped in, right?
Yeah. So the thing is that he competes competitively in, and he'll tell you, in bodybuilding competitions.
Well, he sent the picture last week. Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting.
So Ish, basically, I'm trying to lose some weight myself.
Okay, he has to give both of us some tips when he gets back. Okay, so Ish, when you guys go out, you guys are really just kind of doing what women are doing. One, you're kind of embracing the people that you're with, having a good time, kicking it with them. But at the same time, you're kind of people watching, trying to see if this guy is really going to get the phone number, all those different things, right?
Yeah, I like going out with some of my female friends sometimes. And
really,
they're single. Sometimes if you go out with a female and she's single, and the fact that your proximity to her will attract other men to that female. Okay, you
know what? That's the question I have for you guys. Are women more attracted to you now that you're married or when you were single?
Not me. Not me. I'm saying my female friends.
I'm asking.
Oh no, not me. No, I don't notice any additional.
Okay, what about you?
So it's real. It's a real thing. I think the ring. I mean, though I'm not wearing my ring today, but when I have my ring on, I tell you, it's like a magnet. And I'm not certain what it is about the idea of being married and can I do this? Can I make this happen? But it's like it's enticing. And I find that I have a lot of people now, when I was single and I was rocking it, dude, I used to hit the club. People barely giving me any attention. And as soon as I became married, I swear, it's like the floodgates open. People who never even looked are now looking, are now curious, want to have a discussion. I think it's the idea, the notion of kind of having what you shouldn't or can't have. I think there's some excitement surrounding that. And I think that's what's driving that sort of mentality.
Wow. And Ish, you're saying you don't get hit on at all?
No.
Ish, are you walking around with the mean mug face like, don't do it?
They're like, don't even approach.
I'm walking around with an additional 15, 20 pounds.
but Ish, this is the thing. For women, and to be honest with you, I think a lot of women, that's not important. They're looking at whether or not you're a good guy. And to be honest with you, for me, when I see a ring, that automatically tells me you're going to be a friend. I don't think challenge and let me see if I can break this bond.
Right.
That's not, I'm thinking, oh, well, this is a guy I can just hang out with and be like, hey, I'm Christine. How are you? And I'd be like, okay, so how many kids do you have? Like, I welcome that because that takes less, it's less pressure for me to be friends with you, to me. So when you guys are out, and this is like a real conversation, just kind of think, this is my happy hour drink. This is water. It's my happy hour drink. So just think we're out at happy hour. And to your point, Ish, I'm with you, you're with me, and you feel like more men are going to be attracted to me because you're there.
When I go out with my female friends, they if I step away for a little bit, after what happens is they'll try to watch you and see, they'll try to assess the situation. Once they realize, they're just friends. When you step away, they move in for the kill. And
really?
Yeah.
So you feel it, because I'm going to tell you, most of my friends I hang out with are guys, and that never happens. Men never talk to me. I'm trying to figure out, maybe I need to put tattoo across
maybe you're gonna do it. I got to come out to Michigan and show you how we do it.
That doesn't happen. And I'll say for years, the majority of my friends that I hang out with are guys, and guys never. It's only when I'm out by myself or I'm exiting, or if I approach a guy. Like, I'll go up to people as I'm exiting and say, hey, what are you doing? I need you to walk me to my car. And he'll be looking back like, what about one? And I say, oh no, those are my friends. Because I'm interested in you. I've been checking you out. Walk me to my car so I can talk to you. See, that's me, which may be kind of like a guy move, because I know most women probably wouldn't do that, but we've already addressed it. I'm a man in a dress. So, I just kind of, but see, Dr. Campbell, I think if I hung out with you, women would just probably push me down. They wouldn't even care. And the men be like,
let me just give you guys, to Ish's point, what I've encountered is when I've gone out with, like my, 5 female friends, and like, we were like either at a bar or a restaurant or whatever, we're doing a meeting. As I scan the room, because I do scan the room sometimes just for safety purposes to see who else is there, because you never know who's watching sometimes. So I just cursory scan the room to see if I recognize anyone. And oftentimes I don't, but sometimes I do. And if it's a guy friend that's there, I mean, thank God they're not married, but some of them who don't know me per se, would be looking over. And I think oftentimes my female friends are like, okay, Doc, you got to get up because it seems like I'm blocking the access. And so there's a few times when I've said, okay, I looked around the room and, I see people looking over here. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to step away to the bathroom. I'll be delayed. I'll be like hella delayed. Like, I'll be 15 minutes gone. Give an opportunity for whoever wants to step so that they don't feel like they're disrespecting me in the process.
Right.
But you get a chance to really get that approach. And we really have these conversations because, again, a lot of times, we look around and they're like, Dr. Campbell, or, Nev, that guy's looking, but you're here. And because you're here, it's becoming like a deterrent because I feel like they don't want to be disrespectful in your presence to walk up. And so I typically pick up on those cues. I step away and I give whoever an opportunity to walk up, to wave, whether it's to wave a number or to name numbers, send the waiter with a napkin or whatever. Do that while I'm gone so that you get access.
Do you think when you're out, may it be with the guys or with the ladies, mixed crowd, do you think people are just apprehensive when they feel that you are at a certain level in your life, that they're a little apprehensive when you go out? I think, because me as an example, if I wear jeans and a t-shirt, I'm just going out, more people talk to me then than if I left from work and went somewhere. People just look at me and it's a different thing. And I'm trying to figure out, maybe because I'm chunkier, I don't know. I'm like, is this what is happening? So do you think people are consciously aware, especially for men? I would tell you, be honest with you. If a man has on a nice pair of shoes and a nice belt, did you hear? A nice pair of shoes and a nice belt. See, I'm weird. Then I'm probably going to talk to you. But if you just got on some jeans and some little rugged shirt, you're not my dude. I'm looking at shoes and a nice belt.
Maybe you're being a little too you're not opening up the window, so to speak, enough. You talk to everybody, You never know. I'm attracted
to men that have a nice waistline.
But
that kind of tells you my thing.
Right.
Here's my thing. It's not always about the person that you're talking to because you want to get with the person. You don't know who he knows. He may have a friend that may be better suited for you or what have you. So you should talk to everybody. I think women tend to do that. They tend to dismiss men.
Well, I talk to everybody, but I'm saying if it's something personal for me that I want, I'm looking at a guy that has a nice belt and a nice pair of shoes. Now, do I socialize and network? 100%. I talk to everybody. Okay. Yeah, I'm not closed-minded, but if it's something that I personally want that's on my menu, I'm looking at belts and shoes. If I can't see your belt, I'm probably not gonna approach you.
I mean, and there's two sides to that coin, because probably that's a good thing. It filters out, it makes it easier, because we have to have limitations. Like, we have to have filters, because then the floodgates open and then you're like, what am I doing here, right? So if you start off with some criteria, that will at least help you to get to where you're trying to get to faster. But at the same time, to Ish's point, that can sometimes be it can lead to missed opportunities.
Have you guys ever referred a woman that you met to one of your friends or somebody you knew?
Oh yeah. Some of my exes.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so we're clear. I've never gotten a referral.
What?
Never.
But
when I say to you, when I go out, men don't ever talk to me. I go out a lot of times by myself. They don't talk to me. I sometimes the guy, and I'll say, do you have my bill? And he'll say, oh, that guy who walked out paid for it. Okay, so the mystery man paid for my meal,
but you never met him.
Never
No.
met
Yeah.
him. You may have a problem of standing bitch face.
Right. The resting bitch face. The
Resting bitch face, yeah, whatever they call it. Yeah, you may have that. Men might be intimidated by you, possibly.
Okay, what do you? So, Dr.
And
Campbell,
I'm going to add to that. Because I really believe that there's something to be said about that. You're a beautiful woman. You are.
thank
right?
you.
You really are. And so that's one thing. The second thing is you have an air about you.
Do I?
And oftentimes people don't know that because it's them, right? So if it's me, I don't know that I have an air about me. And it's not a bad air. It's like a sophisticated air about you, right?
Okay.
And oftentimes when people see that, they run the list in their minds and okay, look at me, you know what? Let me just know that I probably shouldn't even be doing this. And people size up, based on what they see and based on the energy that they think they're getting or being emitted. And they're like, you know what? I don't think I even stand a chance. Now, you have some guys who are just like, whatever, I'm going to shoot my shot, whatever, right? And these guys are guys that no limitations, no restrictions. My buddy right now, Eric, great guy, right? He will approach, and no matter who you are, right? You could be, the queen, or you could be the duchess of whatever. He doesn't give a damn what you have, who you are, what you look like. He's going to approach you. Now, mind you, he's not the most handsome dude, but I think he has his
confidence.
His growing up, his childhood has just made him that bold person. So he's not afraid. He's not afraid to put himself out there, even in front of others, to be rejected and to be turned down. And because of that, he has really scored some really, really, really beautiful women. When I say he has scored, and you're like, how did this even happen? Like, what? Dude, you're...
the guy with confidence is hot.
That's the thing. Like, he walks in, and because he doesn't care about... Or not care, but because he's not afraid of the rejection, then that gives him this confidence to walk up. He cracks jokes, he says things, and before you know it, I'm like, did you just leave with that? Oh my goodness. And she's a supermodel, and he's like, yeah, I just did. And but then again, it's you wonder, you're like, how did this happen?
It's just like, wow.
No, like all of this, his girlfriends have been like, supermodel-esque. And if you see him, you're like, dude, really? And and folks will say, well, maybe it's his ability in bed. No, because at that first encounter, they've not.
You don't know that.
That has not happened.
Yeah, you don't know that.
It's his confidence, yeah.
Exactly. What has got them from the bar at the table to into his hotel? Like, how did this even happen? So again, it's the confidence that he displays, despite not being the most attractive or not being, the most, the wealthiest. No, he just is not afraid.
Yeah.
So you know what, that lends to my next question, because I'm wondering, with women, I'm not going to say all of us, but a good majority of us, when we look at men, we look at potential, right? Does this person have the potential versus non-potential? Now, one of the things I'm going to tell you that always blinds us is a guy with a nice body. You get a little blinded on that. You may be like sketchy on the potential, but then you're thinking, I'm probably going to have a really great experience with him. So you like, screw the potential. But the thing is, do men do the same thing? Do you guys, then do you look at potential, or do you look at physical attraction?
Physical attraction first for me. But
and I would say for most men, and when I say most, I mean the vast majority. Like, if I'm going to be risky enough to put a percentage out there, I'd say probably more than 80% of men, right? It's what they see, and then they, if they can work, they will figure out a way to make it work, right? They will figure out a way to provide for if they see and they like, but we've all seen this, that it is not permanent, right? And when I say
Okay.
permanent, what I mean by this is it's short term, because
Right.
the short term attraction is what draws you to the person. Yes, she's the most beautiful person. She's the person that makes me feel like a king in and out of the bedroom. And you're so fixated and fascinated with the beauty, the way she walks, the way she smells, the way she smiles at you. But as time goes by, right, that fades. It fades.
Okay.
Realistically, it's not the same like when you met her. And then
Right.
what is there to keep that going? If they can't reinvent something of interest, or if he can't find something else of interest, then that relationship is destined to fail.
What about you? Is she feel the same way?
Yeah, I think with me, I've always been very I have triggers, and if I see something that triggers me, like I went on a date one time years ago, and took a woman to a dessert restaurant, and the way she ate her dessert, with her hands, turned me off.
Me too, my
I mean,
guy.
like,
Oh,
there's certain triggers I have. Once I'm triggered, it's a no go. And like in the '90s, Cook will even tell you this. I was notorious for calling women psycho. My credo was women are psycho, and back then my thing was like when a woman did something like kind of eccentric, I would just immediately cut her off. So I never had a lot of drama because I was so like really big about cutting people off at the hip, and when I saw something that I didn't particularly like. So yeah, so
Wow.
no
Ish.
second chances. It's just like no second chance. I'm not gonna mess with this. I know where it's gonna go.
I cut off a lot of people, man. My friends was joking me like, "Dad, you cut off for that?" But that's just how it was. But that's how I kept the drama out of my life.
Wow, that's amazing. So Chocolate, thank you so much for joining and watching us tonight. She's laughing at you guys because you are hilarious. And these are things that women are curious about. So folks, we're going to take when I say to you, a real quick commercial break, and we're coming right back because I'm going to ask them a question about whether or not their wives did what they did. If their wives did what they did, would they be with their wives right now? If your wife saw you hit a trigger, would she still be with you right now? Would she have made a different choice? That is the question I want to know. We'll talk to you in 2 and 2.
My name is Christine Burkett, the inventor of the 5 F's to Love. This is a compatibility app. It's an app that gives you an opportunity to rate words that start with the letter F in chronological order of importance to you, to help you find your one true love, your soulmate, and the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with. So after you've taken the time to rate your F's in chronological order, you send a link to the person, you just met, or the person you've been dating for quite some time. Or maybe it's the person you've been married to for 30 to 40 to 50 years. And then you compare your top 5 F's to find out what things you have in common and things that you may perhaps need to work on. This is taking a simplistic perspective on how to find your one true love, your soulmate, the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with. And thank you for downloading the 5 F's app.
Hey guys, welcome back to the 5 F's to Love, Real Talk with the Men. Ish, what are you doing now? I have to ask that question.
On my phone, sorry.
You and that phone. So, Ish, we left off, and Dr. Campbell will be right back. You guys, he's actually still in his office. So Dr. Campbell's going in and out, but he'll be right back on in a few minutes. So Ish, the triggers that you talked about, which is really interesting to me, because you were like, if the woman started eating her dessert with her hands.
Yeah, I was a terror in the 90s.
And you cut her off. So let me ask you a question. What triggers do you now know that your wife has that initially you were not aware of, that she just kind of accepted you?
No, I mean, I accepted her, you mean?
No, she accepted you.
I mean,
like it's got to be things that you're doing
now.
I'm
damn near perfect. I mean, come on.
That's what most men think. You guys think
you're perfect. She ain't got no. It ain't a hard pill to swallow with me,
Mm-hmm.
No, but well, I think with her, I was make this. I was telling a story when I met her. I met 3 girls that night when I met her, and all those other women, they were all vastly different, you know.
Okay.
And the other 2 were. I mean, I kind of knew the other 2 weren't going to last. But you know, the question was, how long were they going to trigger me before I excommunicated them? You know, one didn't last long at all. She was a terror. The other one kind of lasted, you know, a little while. But my wife kept, you know, she was the good egg, you know. But I wasn't ready for a relationship at the time. So she was in DC, I was in New York, and I had just moved back to New York. I wanted to kind of see what's up with somebody in New York because I wanted somebody, you know, locally. So I kind of put that off to the side for about a year, and then we kind of reconnected a year and a half later when I was ready to kind of settle down. I was willing to make the extra effort and looking into a long distance relationships. We did that for about a year, and then she moved to New York, moved in with me.
Okay, so that's really interesting. So that night you met 3 women in total, and the one of them happened to end up being your wife.
Yeah, in the club.
And she was the one that lived.
I stayed in the club. I stayed in the club in the 90s.
You stayed in the club. So that's very interesting to me that you met 3 women that night. And out of the 3 women that you met that night, the one that lived the furthest is the one that you end up marrying.
No, they all lived in the DC area.
And so
I didn't tell you the backstory. I went to DC for the weekend. Back then they had something called First Fridays.
Yeah.
And I would go hang out with my friends. So I was in the DC area. I was in town for the weekend, and I scored big, so to speak.
Okay, so that's interesting.
3 number 9, I guess that's a big score.
So did she eat with her hands at any point?
Who? My wife?
Yes.
Oh no. She would have been excommunicated if she did. She passed it. Her issue was that she had cats. Oh, I hate cats.
But you still stayed with her.
So she was a good girl. She was in law school when we met, and she had much money, and so when I would come, she would put the cats in the kennel, you know, because she knew that I hated cats. So, and one of the days, she always jokes about one of the dates she offered to pay for something or something, a tip or something, and she was hoping I would say no. It was her last $15. I said, no, you can get and put that in there. But she was like, she was reluctant. You know, she felt bad. She wished she hadn't done it, but you know, she was testing me and I was testing her. So, but I guess that's very
interesting. It's your interesting guy. So I'm going to ask you guys, when you meet up with the fellas, what is a common topic that you often discuss that women wouldn't think that you discuss? What's a topic?
That's a good question.
I talk politics a lot.
What do you talk about, Ish?
I mean, the last few times I've been out in the last couple of years, it hasn't been about women per se. It's been about politics, current events, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
And sports. I mean, I'm not a big sports fan, but the friends that I hang out with, they're big on football and basketball. And so it's which team and who's the name. I'm like, my brain cannot handle any additional information to store which players didn't do what and who got traded where. I can't. I
don't do sports talk either.
Okay, so that they talk about that a lot. But aside from that, you know, we do talk sometimes about, and it's not gossip. I would say like once. I would say ever so often, if someone is missing or if someone has been missing repetitively, or if like one of our friends we know right now that he's going through a lot, and he shows up to the events, him and his wife, but you can tell that there is something that is just not quite there, and it's weighing on him, and you know, he's stressed out, he's stressed, and so you know, we've all probably talked to him, not directly but indirectly, like, hey man, we're here. But once in a while, like if someone is not there, at least when I'm present, sometimes like I'll hear, and I never really initiate, to be honest with you. It just comes up and I chime in. Hey, you know, have you seen John recently? Oh, no, I haven't. Have you seen him recently? Have you talked to him recently? No. Well, you know, I don't know. Last time I saw him, he just wasn't looking too great. And then it would be a small discussion around John and what's happening with John and what intervention we could possibly do as
Okay.
friends to see if we can reach out or just lend a shoulder, an ear or a shoulder for him. But those conversations, we do have those too.
So you guys have a discussion before you go and approach this guy that's in the friend group about any potential issues that they have.
Right, we do. At times we do. Now, not
Okay.
often, because sometimes people approach them individually. And
Okay.
then in the course of the discussions or just the conversation, like someone was, oh yeah, I did notice I spoke to him personally, and
Okay.
this is sort of what's happening. It's not as bad as, it seems. Everything is under control. So we'll just all back off at that point, right? We'll just say, you know what? You spoke to him, it's all good. He's working on it, great. If he's not working on it, or if it's something that we need to intervene, then at that point, quickly, so we come up with an action plan. Hey, you know what? Who's the closest to him here? Maybe the intervention should be reviewed because you guys live, 10 minutes apart. You're on this side of town together. I know you go by his house often. Maybe this is a discussion that is better suited for you to have with him.
Okay, and I like that you guys are having this. So let me ask you a question. Are men emotional in your friendship, in your bond? Are you guys just very, how can I say, strategic in your bond when you are in that type of friendship?
With me, it's different friends. Like I have a group of friends where I can say, "Man, I love you, man," right? Then I have another group of friends where I can't say that. So it depends on the group of friends. So like to answer your question directly, like the emotional aspect would be to those guys where I could say I love you, whatever. But it depends, friends, guys, I'm sure the doctor was saying you have different relationships with different groups of friends and different people. So but I say for the most part, no, the emotions are with select people that I feel comfortable, talking to in a specific way.
Are you guys apprehensive about bringing friends into your current group? If somebody shows up with a guy and he just decides to start hanging around and bringing in a group, how does that work? How do you initiate a guy into your after work hours, events when he's not a part of the original group? Like, I know how it works for women, but how does it work for men?
So let me take a stab at that. Ish, for me at least. So I am the guy that is always bringing in what everybody consider the randoms, like who's this random that you're with right now, and
you guys refer to those people as randoms.
Well, some of my friends call them the randoms. Like, who are these randoms? And so I've always noticed, and this is the craziest thing that I need to work on because I don't understand why I always find myself in these situations, and maybe it's just my Achilles heel, I swear. I make friends fairly easily, girls and guys. I would go out and before you know it, hey, where are you going? Or I went to the bar over there. Hey man, it was great chatting with you, great vibe, great energy. What do you guys do tomorrow? We're down, whatever. And I'm like, and everybody's looking at me like, really? Really? And I'm like,
so you're the guy that's bringing the random people into the group.
So watch this. So like for example, like we're all at a bar sitting down talking. I'll walk away, and as I'm walking away, maybe I'll be passing by a table, and someone says, "Hey man, do I recognize you from somewhere?" I'm like, "Oh no, I'm so and so," and then before you know it, a conversation starts. I'm like, "You know what? You're cool. You're cool too. Hey, my group is over there. We're just catching up. Hey man, come over sometime and say what's up when you're passing." Person might pass with their group. They'll say what's up, and in the conversation, hey, so we're here in town as well. You guys are in town. What are you guys doing tomorrow? But I've always had these be a part of friendship groups, whether it's my current core group here in Las Vegas, or I have a core group when I go to pain conferences or medical conferences. There's like subgroups, and all the subgroups want me to hang out. And they get upset when I'm with subgroup A and subgroup B. They're like, where you at? I'm like, oh, I'm over here. Bro, what are you doing over there, bro? You need to be over here. And so
it's your personality, Dr. Campbell.
That's it's crazy. It's to the point where I'm like, I just want to go and just not see anybody because this kind of problems of, oh, come hang out with us, or this party tonight, you can't miss this, or give up that book. I'm like, guys, can I just be wherever I want to be? No, you have to come hang out with us.
I'm going to say two things. For one, Chocolate, I just want to say she's cracking up at you guys. Like she's getting a real big kick out of you guys. And thank you so much for watching. I'm going to say, as that person who's been the random, I've been the random, introduced into a group of women. I'm going to say it's tough. Like it's tough. It's extremely tough. I think people are very welcoming to me because I'm very easygoing, but they're also very, I'm going to use the word persnickety. Persnickety.
I love that word.
Am I doing the word of the day this time?
Yeah, the word of the day.
Usually, like normally it's just you, but I'm doing the word of the day. And the thing is, it's just very persnickety, and it's like like my mom used to say, nice nasty. So for women, it's a
nice
really because what they're doing is they're looking at all of you, and then a lot of times while they're looking at you, you turn around. Now they're Googling you because they want to know who you are. Oh, this is in real time, right? Oh, wow. And then they make these decisions within the first, like if you're a person they need to know, want to know what's going on. It's really weird. Here go Chocolate. She was like, yes, it is. And then she was like, oh yes, nice nasty. See, it's a little bit more pressure, but the difference is, the reason people always ask me, why are you a woman with so many male friends? And this is the reason why. You guys just accept me the way I am. Nobody's Googling me. They're like, oh, Chris is cool. I'm just sitting up there. I know sports. I don't have to talk about sports. I can talk about other things. I'm just there. And it's different. But with women, I find it so intense just to formulate a basic relationship. And then it's hard work to maintain it because I'm not a talker every day. That's something I need to work on. Like, I don't need to talk to you every day. If we text once a week, I'm good.
Yeah.
And I don't need to talk, and I'm that person. So I think that's something you need to work on. But that's what I keep saying. I'm a man in a dress. A lot of women talk, girl, this is what happened today. And it's a whole group conversation. I'm just like,
too much
why?
Detail.
Right. What are we saying? So those are the things that I think that's a little different. But when you guys, my next question for you guys, because these are things that I want to know.
Christina, I did have a question for you.
Oh, sure. You can ask me anything you like. What would you like to know?
Maybe we can do it after the next commercial. I want to interrupt your flow. You may have a flow that you're going with.
Right. Oh, no, you can ask. This is my question.
Okay. What I wanted to ask you, when you're on a first date, right? You at a restaurant, what have you. Let's say you're at a restaurant. What kind of conversations are you willing to allow on a first date? Are you talking about where are we going, or are you just keeping it light, or like? Because I've been thinking about a lot of my first dates when I was single. I'm wondering how somebody of our generation is. In other words, are you escalating the conversation, or are you playing it, keeping it cool, so to speak? Because I kept it cool back then. I'm wondering how you navigating those waters.
I would say don't use Christine as a marker for standards for women. I'm not the norm.
It's curiosity. I'm just curious.
No, for me, it's definitely different. I mean, if I just met you that night, it's a different conversation. If you ask me out on a date and that is our official first date, like you just asked me out and we're gonna meet up. So for me, I'm very transparent. The person you meet right now is the person I am. So normally I ask questions like, have you ever been to jail? I ask those questions. Have you ever been married? Do you have any children? And then we kind of go, and they go, they're like, are you really asking me these questions? And I always say, yeah. Then I always say, have you ever had one night stand? And then, and then they'll say, well, why are you? Because are you expecting this to be a one night stand, or how are you viewing this? Is this like you want to get to know me, or is this like a hit and miss? So then I can kind of So I'm setting a tone for if you're really interested in me, or you interested in hooking up with me. That's two different conversations.
Right.
And then depending on how they answer that question, always I ask the next one, which is, are you into open relationships, or are you old school? Now, if you say I'm into open relationships, then I always extend my hand across the table and said it was very nice. I enjoyed this. I'll pay for the drinks. And then I leave. I'm not into open relationships. I'm old school. So you've answered all my questions. And normally that happens in about 5-10 minutes. I'll give you 15. But yeah, then I'm out.
Have you ever had that where you've gone through these series of questions and gotten to the point where that question came up and the answer was I'm into open with, and you paid, and you've had that?
Yes.
That's
Because now, and that's the one thing. So you're right. That was different when we were dating. Me being 52, you meet guys now, honestly, they're into twosomes, threesomes, groupsomes, swinging. It's very different. And that's why I have to ask, are you into open?
Yeah.
Because I'm not. And the thing is, I don't care, if you have all those other attributes that I like or love, I'm out because I'm not into that.
Gotcha.
And I think a lot of times people who are in their 50s who want to be in a relationship, they'll take that as, oh, well, that's interesting. I wonder if I want to try that. No, I don't want to try it. I've never tried it. I'm not interested in trying it because I know what comes with that. And I'm a selfish person. I'm not sharing. I'll share you with some kids. I'll share you with some family members. But that bedroom, I'm all you need. What we gonna do? Let's make some magic happen. So that's me. So yeah, and it is. And that's why I always tell men, especially my male friends who are married, I go, dude, you don't want to come out here. You don't want to come out here,
right?
Because it's different, and it's really hard to find people who are into those traditional concepts.
So would you say like 20 years ago, the conversations on the first dates were different than they are now?
Oh my God, yes.
Is it fair to say like 20 years ago, they were more relaxed and more easygoing, just have fun, just kind of get to know each other, not really cutting to the chase, so to speak?
I'm going to say it's a couple things happening. I get more married men that approach me, like a lot. And I say to them immediately, I'm sorry, I'm a number one, I'm not a number two. So what is happening right here? And they go, well, what do you mean? I just want to get you a drink. No, that's not what's happening. You could have sent me a drink and walked away. So the thing is, you have to establish it because so many women, again, my age, are willing to share. And they just assume if you're single and you look like, you're a certain age, you're open to that. So that's the first thing. The other thing is, back in the day, there was no pressure. I was 20, 30 years old. If we went and got something to eat, I'm good. By the time you get to your late 30s, you're thinking about, I want to have a kid. So that then escalates the conversation, and your intent is more direct on dating. When you get to your 40s and you still having a kid, the first thing you say is, are you interested in having a family? Right? Because they go right in. So the women are more direct versus men. You guys can have babies up to 80 with a 20-year-old. See, women is a different thing because our clock, it makes us have those conversations.
Right.
And so now that I'm in my 50s, I'll be honest, I'm not the norm. I get younger guys approaching me like, hey, listen, what do you need? I can come take care of your lawn. I do home repairs. I'm like, wait a minute now.
That would have been me 20 years ago.
Like, hello.
That's funny. I had me giggling over here because that's facts. I see. I a lot of my more mature lady friends who are single. We talk about they're like, can you believe this 19-year-old rolled up and he was serious too. I mean, he was cute and all, but he's 19 years old and trying to come through, trying to do my lawn, trying to do all these things. I have to say, child, go sit your little butt down. But on the flip side, they're like, man, he was cute and that body was tight, but I just couldn't. Right? They're like,
you got to do a cutoff. And my cutoff, honestly, is like, you've got to be at least 35, 36. My kid is 21 this year. So I can't do anything in the 20s. You got to be at least in your mid-30s. And it is, but you know what it is too? I think my generation is the last generation of women who really focuses on your physical features and your body naturally. There are younger women who look like they had 10 kids. They have no, like, for them to not have a small waistline is so what? Like, I'm good. You're going to want me anyways. I was in Florida on business, and I went to a restaurant, and both of these girls came in with these tank tops on. And I was talking to Cook on the phone. I said, Cook, will we have done this in our 20s or 30s with our stomachs hurt? She was like, no. In their mind, they're like, everything is beautiful and acceptable. And I love that. I love that you feel that comfortable. But then when I look at the younger guys, their attitude is, how old are you? And you look like this? Okay,
Right.
well, then I'm going to roll with you. Because one, you don't need my money. You just want me, well, for other things. But if they can do stuff, if you can fix stuff and you look presentable and you speak well, that's a different story. But for me,
Right.
I like guys my age or older, to tell you the truth.
Right.
I really do like guys around my age or older. I don't really like the younger ones. But honey, sometimes that little dinner date, I might have to go bowling or something with the little 30-year-old.
Hello.
And I'm okay with that.
Hello.
Look, Ish,
Hello.
what did you talk? Look at you asking me some legitimate questions.
Right.
The reason why I asked is because I've been watching a lot of different to get prepared for our discussion, watching different podcasts. I'm seeing a lot of the 20-somethings having discussions that I may not have had, and I'm wondering how would I have navigated it differently now. And I see, for me back in those days, I kept it really, really light. That may not been the best way to do it. But I didn't really get into like what you're looking for and that kind of thing. I kind of let that develop over time. But it seems like now the kids, the 20-somethings, they're really cutting to the chase. They're having really deep.
Well, it's a different time. I mean, think about it this way. My son said to me, he says, Mom, now you have to ask the women, are they bi?
Yeah.
See, to me, I'm asking open relationship. My son is asking, are you bi?
Yeah.
See, because everybody's experimenting. And so the thing is that when you think about our age group, if you can tell if a man is bi right away. You can tell if he's gay. You can tell if he's straight. You can tell if he's an alpha male. These days, it's muddy.
Yeah.
So you do have to get to the point.
You're different. So right. You're so right, Kristen. The lines are now blurred, and it's very gray. It's very gray right now. Mm-hmm. And with these new terminologies that we've introduced, gender fluidity.
Yes.
You can be fluid from a gender perspective. You don't have to commit to being a specific gender. You don't have to commit to take on a specific role. You can flow back and forth depending on who the person is, who the situation is, where you are. And this has become the norm.
It's a norm.
Whereas the only difference is, I think, is not like people, older or people back in, who were born in the 50s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s weren't, or didn't think like this.
They did.
But the environment just wasn't as
conducive.
Exactly, as conducive for them to just be so free with it. And so, because it's like if you have barriers, right, in this room, I know I can't just walk from here to the outside because there's a wall there, for heaven's sake. Right? Whereas, in this analogy, now let's say the walls were just torn down. Mm-hmm. I can just simply walk outside. I can walk back inside. I can walk to that room. Mm-hmm. I can just walk back. And that's what's happening now where, things, the strictness, the what people used to consider taboo is no longer. And so, hey, you know what? That's why now more than ever, the conversations are important. To be
very direct nowadays.
To be had up front, like your son, you have to ask those questions from the jump. Why? Because if not, you're going to find yourself in a situation where you're like, what? I didn't sign up for this. And so that's why I really like, Christine, and that's why I asked you earlier, have you done this? Have you done this? Because not a lot of people have the guts and the courage.
They don't. I walk out.
Don't. And because
I'll pay for the food because I don't want you to say, oh, she just walked out and whatever, you're angry about it. But my thing is that's just not acceptable for me.
No.
And I'm okay with that.
And for people who that's, have some friends and their concept, and they're older. I mean, they're like in their late 40s, early 50s. And they're full-blown open relationship. Yeah. Right.
That Dr. Campbell's happening a lot with people who've been married for years. They want to try something new.
They're trying stuff and they're discussing stuff, and and I hear them and I see them. Of course, I'm like, hey, I'm good. Me and my wife went out one time and we're like, we're good. We're not coming upstairs because we know what happens.
Oh, and that's the swinger thing. A lot of couples are into swinging with other couples.
It's a big society. Like I didn't know until I came to Vegas that there was a massive society that I dare not even speak because I will be canceled out here. But I swear, I'm so cautious of how I even open my mouth. So let me even retract what I'm saying right now. But you'd be surprised the people that like you're like, oh,
Dr. Campbell, I'm going to tell you right now, I know exactly what you mean. And it's a very odd situation to be in. I have some really, really good friends who invited me over to their house for what I thought was an old school house party. Let me tell you, Christine was like this. This is not an old school house party.
Let me just drink
it's
my
an old school house party.
Let me just drink my tea. Let me just drink my tea. Because too many times we've gotten invited to stuff, and Tashai and I have just, respectfully, we're gonna and as you go, as you climb higher and higher professionally, like the circles get smaller and tighter, and the figures get more prominent.
Oh, they do.
And you're like, holy crap. But of course, you can't be holy crap like you're surprised. You're
exactly.
Like, I'm just not gonna come up. You're good in that room. I'm gonna be in the living. Well, we're in the living room, and we're not. No. And as a matter of fact, you know what? It's 15 minutes. I think the kids called, and we gotta go. And
Listen,
the kids, so we have to find an exit.
You have to text your kids to call you and say it's an emergency.
Exit. So you're not being disrespectful or rude, but you're just not playing the game. You're just not going to be a part of that. But again, that as you climb the ranks of professional standing, again, you'd be surprised. But for some people, and I'm not judging them. Honestly, no judgment.
Judgment. I'm okay with you.
I respect what people choose to do, but there are certain standards that we all have, and I think if we're clear about those standards, then the confusion is less. The confusion is what causes problems.
Here's the funny thing about all that. When I was younger, I was always intrigued by that whole lifestyle kind of thing, and I thought I might want to do something like that too. But
Ash, you thought you wanted to be a swinger? We learned about you on this show.
Watching. Let me finish my statement. I used to watch some HBO shows and wonder about doing those kind of crazy, erotic things, but now that I'm married, I would never think about doing that because my marriage is sacred. I would never want to disrespect my kid's mother by doing those kind of things. But I'll be honest, when I was younger, those things did intrigue me. That lifestyle. But sometimes you may think something, you may want to do something until you actually get into it. I've never done it, but I seriously considered it when I was in my 20s. But there's no way I would ever even seriously consider it now in my marriage. I mean, I know it goes now. Back then it was more kind of like a niche kind of thing. Now it's more ever present, so to speak. But I'm not biting on that. It's just.
I like that, Ish. Yeah. And I want to share with you guys that Vlad said great show, and of course Chocolate says she said yes. Place the keys in the bowl when you walk in. See?
Wow.
Wait a minute. I went to a party. And this is the honest goodness truth. I went to a party and I walked in the building. First of all, they had security, and I walked in the building and they were like, "I'm sorry, ma'am, we're gonna need your cell phone out of your purse." I was like, "Why do you need no cell phones allowed in this party?" And the first thing I was thinking, what kind of party is this? So I was polite. I said, "Okay." And he says, "Well, here's a ticket for your phone." I said, No, I can just put mine back in the car. Just give me a minute. I took my phone back to the car. And then I went in, and when I tell you, I walked in and my mouth must have been frozen the whole time like this. I couldn't even, I was like this. What? And I got so uncomfortable that I had to tell the person who invited me to the party, I said, you know
good.
What?
I'm good. You. Yes, I'm out.
I'm going to, you know what? Because I got to catch up on some stuff. You know me, I got to go back to the office. I had a blast. Did you get a drink? Oh, no, I got a drink. All the drinks had roofies in it or some exotic drugs.
Yep.
Yes.
You got it. Yep. It's not just that. It's not just that. So like Ish, you know what? So even, I mean, now, there are certain invites that I get, and I'm trying, because I'm the guy. Well, I'm not gonna ruffle the feathers, but I just won't go. And so I'll do things like, oh, the weekend of April 7th. Let me check. Oh my gosh. I have a conference and so the running joke now is you're never available. And it's not like it's not by choice. I'm purposely not being available because it just seems like, you seem like you think that we should just pop up because after the first time when like you, Christine, my jaw dropped, and it's like I stayed like this all throughout, and I'm like, holy moly. And it's not even that, it's not even the activities, because you see activities
it's not
right?
bad.
But it's seeing people that you know, and you're like, okay, did I just see you in that light? Like, tomorrow we're doing a case and we're doing a deposition.
Exactly.
I can't unsee that.
I can't. Right. That's the whole thing. You can't unsee it.
No, like we're having a conversation, serious business, and all I'm thinking about
is
what I saw. I'm like, you were like blazed at what? And we're gonna be serious. I can't turn it off. So some people though can compartmentalize beautifully. They can see you like nothing happened the next day and carry on. But the first, I'm like, okay, all I'm seeing is you on that sofa and what was happening, and I can't stop doing that. And because of that, I'm good. I'll be continuously unavailable.
So Ish, just to let you know, code is when they take your phone. Don't go to that party.
If your phone has been taken at the door,
I missed the boat on that. I should have done that when I was in my my single days, but
Oh no. This is now. This is people our age, and you think you're going to like a regular old school house party. Dude, they're collecting phones. Like, and you're like this. And you're not thinking anything of it because you're like, oh, I'm at JoJo Dancer's house, right? No. And it's a red light party, all right. It's in the basement.
And the amount of drugs and alcohol that you'll come across, you're like, okay. So professionally, I get it, but God forbid someone who is, and this is what I worry about too, right? Yeah. With the invites, right? You get an invite, you go, and so my wife tells me, she was like, okay, we're not participants. You're not a participant. However, you go. Let's say someone in that circle is an informant. Informant for the government of whatever sort. And it has happened in the past, right? Informant for the government.
You're at that party.
And you're at the party. You're participating. Let's say they have, I don't know what they have. Let's say they have speed. They have Molly. They have coke. They have ecstasy. Of course, people are walking around with nothing on. And so if they get busted and you're there,
I believe it.
Then understand that you're implicated in that. And the ramifications is just, it's a mess. It's a mess that we don't want.
And it's not even worth it.
It's not worth it.
So look, real quick, Chocolate said the code is pineapple on the door in Nassau County. Pineapple on the door. See, look. This is when I tell you, our older people, because we live such traditional lives, this latter part of our lives, we going just, hey, party time. And you have to be prepared.
My wife saved me because I was about to enter that world toward the Y2K. I was on that in that I was on a precipice. Is that word again?
God bless her.
That's stuff that you come up with. I swear.
I was on a precipice during that world. Luckily, we linked up because I had met somebody who was kind of doing that kind of thing, and somebody who was used to be a female who was gay but decided to be straight now, and we were talking about like there's a book called, it's probably still exists, called Sexy New York. It tells you about all these different places in New York where you can go, different activities, and and one time I invited my wife to go to an erotic restaurant. It was just people scantily clad, whatever, and she rebuffed me because it was that's a trigger for her, and then ever since then I kind of pulled away from anything extracurricular, like that whole world. When she kind of pushed back on that because of her her upbringing.
Thank God for her, Ish.
And then
you don't want to be like a deer in headlights. I went to a party. This is no joke. And I was on the West Coast. I want to be clear, this happened on the West Coast. I was hanging out with friends, and I walked in, and I was like, oh, what a nice, beautiful fruit buffet, right? The fruit buffet was a human body. They had painted
Wow.
this woman's entire body with chocolate and put, have you seen, like, it, I was like, so when it started moving, I said, wait a minute, what's happening? And I said, oh my God, that's a person. They were eating off of this woman's body. And I was just like, where can I go? Like, I didn't even know. So you know what I did? I went to the bathroom and I stayed.
You're like, let me escape for 1 second to stall, and I can just lock this and just like, what is going on here?
I couldn't go to, I went with the person I came with. I wasn't from the West Coast. So I was like, well, I'll watch a Netflix movie or something. I didn't know what to do. And I was in such a panic. And look, the person, not Christine, are you okay in there? I said, no, I'm feeling a little sick. I'm just going to stay here a little bit longer. I said, does somebody else need to come in? Oh, no. I said, okay, I'm just going to stay here for a little. I'm just feeling a little sick under the weather, because I didn't know what to do. So it's basically, Chocolate said on Nassau County is pineapple on the door.
Yeah, we have to talk about that. How she know all that stuff?
No, I mean, when you run the circles, and I'm not saying that she does, but you get specific invites. Like I know there was in 2015 when a year after I came to Las Vegas, there was a friend of mine that was he became a friend, but he was running for office, and that's how I got to know him. A billboard was up. I've noticed him, on the billboard, but didn't know who he was. Later on, I think we were at some gala, met him, and met his wife. And how I met him was, I think someone else who knew him said, "Oh yeah, that guy's Jamaican too, but he's been here since he was a kid. He's in Army, whatever. His parents, he has mixed parents.
Wow.
So nice guy, mixed parents." And he walks up and I'm like, "Hey man, how's it going?" And he has this gorgeous, when I say gorgeous lady, she's probably about 6'2".
She's tall.
Oh my gosh, but she's like an Amazonian person, just like well proportioned and tall, right? Gorgeous. But I mean, he's tall too. He's like 6'5".
Oh, okay, so it works for him.
Yeah, so hangs into like tall, beautiful, full body. She was like just a tall model, like a really, really tall. And she's gorgeous, beautiful flowing hair. I mean, she's, he's like he's mixed, she's white. And met them, beautiful people. "Hey, what's going on? Hey man, nice to meet you from Jamaica." And he talked something in Jamaican. I responded back. So we kind of have the Jamaican thing going on. We're like, "Yes, this is cool. Let's exchange numbers. And then about 2 months later, I get a text. "Hey, I'm having a little birthday party at my house. We would love to have you stop by." So, okay, cool. It's like, "Hey, Tashai, this whoever we met, birthday party. You want to come?" She was like, "Oh, I can't. I'm doing this other event that time, but please give them my regards." I think they were expecting both of us to come. So I showed up, and a bunch of couples and people of different, people who I've never met yet, but prominent in the community because they're all in politics or whatever. I'm like, okay, everybody seems super friendly and almost like there's a familiarity in the group that I'm not privy to just yet because I'm the new guy.
You're the random.
I'm the random. So, I walked in, and as soon as I walked in, I see they were like all eyes on me when I walked in. Because I walked in alone, which probably that's a no-no because you can't go to these things alone. You have to go with a partner. But because he could vouch for me that I was upstanding, community of a practice, I guess what he communicated non-verbally was that he has something to lose just like we all do. So it's okay for him to be here. Right. So I get in, hanging out, having conversations. And I'm just noticing, I'm like, "Christina, Ish, how come you guys are so touchy, but isn't your husband over there? Ish, isn't your wife?" What? What's happening here? Because I'm now a little bit confused because I'm like, what? I don't understand. Like, that's your husband and that's your wife over there, and but I see these sort of cross connections happening. And then
was your response at that moment to just walk out and leave?
no, so my response was I looked away like it was like I'm not even seeing it. Like I'm like, let me just pretend like this is not happening. Let me look away, continue over here, and let me continue this conversation over here because I just don't want to look in that direction because of what I'm seeing. Even though my mind is like, look, I'm like, let me not look because I don't want to be that obvious guy too. So I'm like, let me not be staring that down and show like so I turned around and walking towards the bar area, and my friend's wife walked up, and she's having this conversation and how
with you,
how are things and welcome and love to have you here. Blah,
look at
blah,
Ish's
blah.
face.
And
I feel the ball's about to drop.
of course, like she's beautiful and tall. So I'm like this now because she's taller than me.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, and she's like, yeah, and every other word is like a tap somewhere.
She's touching you.
Touchy feeling.
And I'm like, and then he walks over, and he's talking to and I'm watching her with this smile on her face,
like you were candy.
Yeah, and that's when it dawned to me that you kind of need to make an exit because this is not what you thought it was.
They were grooming you.
And so I simply said, yeah, I got my drink. It's great, great to meet you guys, great everything. I looked around and there was, people had peeled off already and the sofa was occupied. And I'm like, I just got a text. I got to go pick up the wife and the kids. I'm sorry to cut this short, but I didn't know that they would be, needing me so soon. And of course, she couldn't make it, like I said to you before. So I know we'd both planned, but she couldn't at an event. So why don't you, I guess you got to hit me for whatever next activity that you guys have coming up. Let me know, man. Please let me know. And I darted. And ever since that day, like they still to this day keep in touch.
They do.
Yeah, they do. And every activity that I have, like if I'm having a big party for my practice or a big birthday party, they would come and they would sell bring gifts and stuff, right? But I tell you what, since that time, I've gotten maybe about, not me, but we have gotten at least 8 or 10 or even 12 invites to places that, like I said before, I always check the weekend. Yes. Oh, you know what? That's a bad weekend. And it will always be a bad weekend. It will always be a bad weekend because I know guys like that. No, we're not doing that. I'm like, no, sweetie, I'm not doing that. So
this is the new norm.
But respectfully, we don't want to, make people feel uncomfortable with what they're doing. But we're just not coming. That's all.
And that's the thing. So guys, I know probably tonight you guys are like, oh my God, this is a really nice happy hour. And Chocolate said, I don't indulge. I work with someone who does. Because Chocolate, you had all the answers, honey.
I was beginning to wonder.
Y'all better leave Chocolate alone, right? Chocolate, y'all better leave my girl alone, okay?
But the thing is, folks, the older you get, you really need to start asking those questions. You need to be aware. A lot of the invites that you get, they will disappear. They have disappearing texts that they can send you because they want to make sure that you cannot pass it along because they put passcodes in them. Now they have it where it's biometric. You have to sign into a group with your thumbprint or your eye. So they've really gotten really high tech. But the thing is, folks, it's nothing against any of that. If that's what your thing is, then I'm okay with you. That's your thing. It's just not my thing. Right? And I respect everybody's thing. I'm okay with what you do. But folks, this episode will be our last episode for the month of March. We will be back though in May. And you guys know why. It's spring break and we all need a break. We have been working since January. So we're going to take spring break off. We're going to come back in May. We're going to work May and June and then we're off in the summer. So we work like TV. Keep it real. We need time with our families and our friends. But in the meantime, guys, make sure you continue to watch all of our episodes. And every week, we're still going to be replaying our episodes from the beginning of this season. So you get to watch things that maybe you missed if you just start watching us right now. So guys, I've had so much fun with you. The things that I learned from you guys. So you know for sure I'll be back in 2 and 2, guys. Let me go ahead and
Doc, I
close
need a
out
workout
our
plan,
show.
Doc.
So guys, it's before you go, Kristen. So this weekend, I gotta just quickly share with you. You know, I did a men's physique competition this week, and if you guys follow my Instagram, it's Dr_swag_fit. I've posted some of the non-professional pictures. You know, these are the ones that folks from the audience took, but there were people there that were professional photographers and videographers, and they took some that I'm waiting to see what those look like. But it was an experience. It was 5 weeks. From what I understand, people who do this typically do it in 12 to 16 weeks of bulk and then cut in all these phases. But I was like, you know what, 5 weeks should be sufficient. And honestly, it was the toughest 5 weeks. One of the toughest 5 weeks that I've ever gone through because of what was needed to get to where I got to. You look the best.
Oh, he looked amazing. Oh, I knew his thing was going to count. He looked amazing. Chocolate said, great show. I'll be back. So guys, we'll see you back the first week in May on 5F's to Love Network. And guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight.